Hey guys, it's Penelope in London. I would say do subscribe if you want more updates. I do regular videos that looking at different aspects of astrology and also on trauma as well, as we're all here to do our healing work as we move through life. Today, what I'm doing is we're looking at Pluto, and we can see right now the world is sort of being traumatized by what's going on, and Pluto is where we have transformation. I'm going to look at the USA chart as well because they have their Pluto return. You guys have your Pluto return coming up if you're in the USA in 2022. So I'm going to show that. What I thought was to read a little bit on Pluto Capricorn, which we're currently in the last couple of years. And we can see the breakdown of patriarchy at the moment. We can see what's going on. There's a lot of chaos out there with rules and regulations. We got the Saturn square. I'm just getting my marker. We got the Saturn square Uranus at the moment. So you can see here that this is today's chart in the UK. I'm in London. So you have Saturn here and it's square to Uranus. And what's going on is that this is retrograde at the moment. It's going to go back to 6 degrees and then it's going to go forward again. But this is also at some point, and we're going to have a retrograde Uranus. And so, they're dancing together at the moment. They are in breaking free of limitations and we're restrictions. And it's in Taurus, which is to do with our resources, the food, our inner needs. It's also to do with the land and agriculture and what we need inwardly. The ruler is Venus. And currently Venus has just moved over Mars. You can see here. This is a new cycle, and Mars and Venus will meet again in February and March 2022. And then after that, it will be 2 years before they meet again. So it's fascinating, the Mars, Venus, and when we have the balsamic, and then we have the new phase of figuring out who we are and what direction we're going in. So it's interesting that they're going to do a conjunction, because what's going to happen is that Venus will go retrograde, and this will mean that due to that, this meeting will occur again in February, March 2022. What we see today is that also Chiron has just gone retrograde. So if I go back by hours, this has literally just happened. If I'm going back, so it was stationed. And it's stationed yesterday, I believe, or the day before. And then it's literally gone retrograde within the last couple of hours, 6:15 p.m. UK time, around 6 p.m., which would have been just 1 p.m. in New York. So, and this is going to be going retrograde back to 8 degrees, I believe, between now and December the 19th, and then it will go direct again. So we got more healing work to do because we got this in Aries. I did a great video on that yesterday with a friend of mine called Eka. You can go to the video previous to this one to check that out. So we know that Pluto moved into Capricorn on January 25th, 2008, and it's going to complete in Capricorn on January 21st, 2024. It's the end of a cycle. It's been responsible for dismantling the structures, and no doubt, the situation with lockdowns and COVID has helped speed up the dismantling in the sense of the evolutionary intent of what Pluto is doing. And also we have that when the USA formed, the 4th of July, 1976, we have that Pluto was, I will say this, Pluto was 27. So the birth, if we say that, every country has its chart. So Pluto's 27 degrees 33 of Capricorn for the USA. So we can see that if we look here, we've currently got Pluto is retrograde, went retrograde a month ago. And that will, when it goes direct by 2022, let's check the date, on the 22nd of February 2022, it will be conjunct, but I'll show you. So a bit more about Pluto in Capricorn. What's going on? It's where old cycles and phases come to an end, and it's where we need to active self-reflection to examine all of our internal and outer structures. So if we think that Pluto in Capricorn, we think of Saturn and the rings around Saturn. Saturn is teacher. It's also karmic in a way. You can look at karma any way you want, but if we do something that has an effect on others, then it can bounce back to us, not 100%, but generally this is how things work. We've also got that Saturn will cause restriction, and there can be healthy restriction as well. Sometimes we have to be father ourselves and have healthy restriction, like sorting out our lives, knowing that things come in time. And also there is an unhealthy restriction as well, where we may restrict ourselves because of our belief systems or through structures we are, held back as well. So here we need, with this Pluto in Capricorn, how it's been the last leg, because it will be out of there by 2024, January 21st, 2024, it will move into Aquarius. We're looking at the structures of our life, and not only the collective structures, but also our own structures of our own lives. So then we can begin to eliminate all that no longer applies. So the patterns included, with our emotions and our intellect and our physical and our spirituality. And the changes that we make will lead to new cycles. So we can see this is heavily going on right now in the collective. It's just clear as day. Here we can look and see where our responsibility lies. So where does our responsibility lie towards each other? And because we are responsible towards each other, the way we dispose of our waste, our carbon footprint, our belief systems, and the way we run things in our own lives affect others as well. And then we've got, this is not a time for blame, so whatever's going on right now, there could be blame. Funnily enough, I'm not seeing a lot of blame at this point. I'm seeing, people are, sort of taking responsibility for themselves, maybe more so than ever. People are, I have definitely seen that. But the government sort of, from that point, it's like they've got a task ahead of them that is such an unknown as well. We can see that, rules keep changing, which is very difficult. I was thinking earlier, if you live in America and you've got all of that vast land that you don't really, you can travel from state to state, so you can have your freedom of going to different places. But in the UK currently, if you wanted to travel to Europe, then there's these restrictions. They're called, they're changing at regular intervals. They're changing the travel plans of people. So people may go on holiday somewhere and then come back and have to self-isolate in the UK. The rules changed again today. This has been going on all the way through lockdown. So what else we have is that this is not a time for blame, but a time of deep reflection, and that growth can occur with our existing responsibilities and obligations must be looked at. This is a time to look at our judgments and becoming aware of our own judgments and how that reflects on how we treat others. So when we judge something, we treat others in a particular way. So there's healthy judgment also. We have to remember that. And we have to look at our actions and thinking, and also to look at our shadow, which is the work of Carl Jung, Jung. He suggested you can check him out if you don't know who that is, on YouTube or online. And it's where we can then release behaviors around our judgments that no longer apply, because what we were judging 10 years ago or 5 years ago or even a year ago may no longer apply. And look at our attitudes also. Reflecting will help us to release our outdated belief systems. When we reflect, it's not just meditation, it's really reflecting, how am I running my life? Because if we don't, then it will prevent our growth. And we can have a period of feeling empty and that life is meaningless. I'm sure a lot of us have been going through that. It's like, what the hell, excuse my terms, but, will I be able to travel again? Will I be able to do this? Well, we just don't know. So it can cause some meaninglessness in us and feeling weary. But as we keep moving forward and things keep changing and we get updated, things will settle back down at some point. It might take a year or a couple of years, who knows, but we can still be of service in this world and service to ourselves. So this is a time for deep soul searching, and that will allow us to reconstruct a new meaning. A new meaning can be given to our life. So look at the Pluto here. So that moved in 2008. Why don't I show you here? If we go back to 2008 on this chart, and and you can see here. So what we have is 2008. And what I want to do is just make sure that I am sharing the right chart. Yeah, so 2008. So if we look here, we can see that Pluto was 29 degrees of Sagittarius. So if we go years ahead, we're going to go years, and I'm going to go 5 years, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was at 19 degrees in 2018. 2000, then it went retrograde because it does that every year for about 5 months. So we go a year ahead, 1, 2, we go, whoops, I'm going backwards. We go 2020, 16th of July, 2020. So in January 2020, we had this great conjunction up here, the Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars moved over, and we know what happened last year. So I don't need to run into it. I've done other videos about this, about the Mars moving over, the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. You can check out on my page. I'll see if I can find that video and link it in below this video when I upload this to YouTube. So we've also we want to become aware of how the past is playing out. And we also want to redefine the old structures and form new structures to shape our inner and outer reality. So Pluto will also cover our own authority and our career. So there's going to be so many people that are not going to go back to certain careers they've had, which is, fantastic for many people. It's like a wake-up call for so many of us. And, what's important to us, where it may have been paying a huge mortgage, now it's like, well, actually, I don't want that. And I don't need all of this space. Example. Also where we want to be in the world. We need to ensure our career allows us for the potential of our full self-expression. So for me, I feel that what I'm sharing allows me full self-expression. So we can find that for ourselves. And some people will, it may be slower to come to some people for varying different reasons, our different levels of understanding of where we're at, and also what's happening in our own personal chart. And if we can't, we need to create this and change. And also it can be redefining our current career or finding a new career. Here we need a lot of courage, and we need to check in on our self-judgment, and that to make sure that we drop our given implicit parental judgments that have held us back. We really need to do this. This is the inner work. This is the Chiron work. Those inner judgments through society and on us, through ourselves and family that have judged us. And so therefore we haven't lived the way we wanted to. Unfair self-judgment can harm us, and it does harm us, and it stunts our own evolution. And it's also that some judgment is relevant. We know that, like you're going to cross the road, you've got to judge where you're going, foods we eat, stuff like that. And we must take action to evolve. And this is really important, and eliminate what is outdated. The positive here is that this is the beginning of a new phase. So however hard things seem right now, we will need our perseverance and self-determination and courage, and the new life will occur. So if we go a year ahead, this is 23 degrees here. And then we have 25. This is 16th of July, 2021, where we are today. So now what I'm going to do is show you how it moves into Aquarius. But before I do that, we're going to look at this chart. We're going to take it to this date. We're going to go to the Pluto return of the USA date. This is chart is the UK chart, but let's just see here. We're going to go. So I'm going to show you the USA chart, but I'm going to go to the 22nd of February, 2022. What's Daisy? No, I'm going to go do this again. We're going to go 22nd of, I'm not doing very well here. Let me just do this. Brilliant. So 22nd, thanks for the patience there, 22nd of February, 2022. Right, so what we'll see here is that quite beautifully, I noticed that we have Venus and we have Mars, and we have Pluto. So they're all in what's called a balsamic phase at this point, which I won't go deeply into. Simon Forster, a great astrologer who taught me a lot of what I know, helped me to decondition that which no longer served me through understanding my chart. And he's got a video on that. So check out Raising Vibrations on the Venus, Mars, and phase. You'll find a video on his page. What we've now got is that if we look at this, this is actually when we have when the USA will have, I'm just checking it will be 2735. That's the Pluto natal of the USA. So it will be 35. So we're going to go back a few months to get that, or maybe a month. 2035 we want. That's back 2035. So in fact, what I'm going to do is share this here. So what we have, you can see here that this is the USA chart, and I found this on astro.com, and I want to come out of this spotlight. There you go. I've got my spotlight. So here, look here, you've got Pluto is 2733 there. And when it on its return, this chart is showing 2735. So what we have is that Pluto will be conjunct Pluto. So Pluto takes about 245 years around the chart. So the interesting thing is that when USA formed, when we've got the 4th of July 1776 up here, the date that we're using, we can see also that USA is Sagittarius rising. So we can see that they will have their Pluto return, and you guys, and then Venus will go over Mars, and that will be a new phase, and then Mars will move over Pluto, and that will then be a new phase. So we've got really interesting times ahead of us. I won't go into too much what that means for the USA, but because I've also done another video on that too already, but I will do one again. What I want to now show you are the current transits that Pluto, this is today's chart here, USA, and 16th of July 2021, we can see where the planets are today. So we can see that Saturn is in Aquarius. We got Pluto is at 20, see here? Pluto is at 25 degrees retrograde. And we know that the Pluto return for the USA is the 22nd of February 2022 there. And we got Mars and Venus. You see, I showed you the Mars and Venus that's going to be upcoming on the USA chart. This is actually where it's at today in Leo. We've just had Venus just moved over, and we got a new phase coming up, a new evolutionary phase of our inner needs. So now what I'd like to do is go back to the emanator chart, and this is November 2021. I'm going to come out of the spotlight, got it here, get my spotlight. So we can see this is November 2021, and we can see that Saturn will have gone back to, let's go back one, it's gone forward then, brilliant. So it's gone back to 6 degrees, and then it will be going direct. And then at that point, Uranus is, this is October 22nd of October 2021. We can also see that Uranus, that square, is being maintained all year. So breaking free of limitations, our inner needs, and restriction. And then that will go forward again. And it will begin to square in, exact again. So the Pluto Aquarius, let's take this chart years ahead. So I'm going to read you Pluto Aquarius so you understand what we've got ahead of us. And we're going to go years ahead. And we have 29 degrees. And we don't want to go a year ahead there. We want to go months. This is the 24th of October. So what we've got here is that it goes in, and Pluto will move into Aquarius in January 2024. Then it will go retrograde. It will go back into Capricorn, and then it will go direct again. So we can see that we've got that it's moved back into Capricorn here in 2024. Let's go back to January. Hope you're following with what I'm doing here. It's 0 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. Then it will go, if we go forward, 1 month, 2, 3, 4, then it goes retrograde, 4, 5, 6, then it goes back into September, it's back into the sign of Capricorn. Doesn't want to leave, does it? Capricorn, it wants to stay there and help us to redefine our structures. That's what's going on. And then it will go direct, and then it will be there until 2044. So Pluto Aquarius is where we will sever all attachments that bind us from further growth. So we're seeing this play out already in society. People are making different choices about their health, their well-being, their finances, how they're going to make money and what they're going to do. We're also seeing this with the financial markets, what's going on. We will still have, at this point in 2024, we will still have Uranus moving through the sign of Taurus, which is to do with our resources and our money, and also to do with our inner needs and values. And we've also got that we may feel restricted by this Pluto in Aquarius, by our reality, and we might feel cramped, some of us. And the sense of being restricted will create inner compression in our consciousness, and that will force open our consciousness. So some of us will be, doing our own thing, maybe working some land, owning a bit of property, living a simple life. And others will be maybe wanting to, at that point, think, wow, I'm stuck in this. How do I get out of this situation? The wish and desire is for our individuation in this Aquarius, Pluto Aquarius. And it will bring up repressed past memories, past life memories, this life's memories. They will come to the forefront. And it's also where it all is coming up to the surface to allow us individually and collectively the required freedom from the past, because we're so stuck in the past, let's face it. And all is coming to the surface, and this will bring us freedom from the things that now bind us. This is a time of freedom from consensus reality, and we will detach at regular intervals, and we will have the need, this deep desire from within to detach. Some of us are already feeling that way. Alone time will be required so that we can objectify and have the space and time to view the dynamics that have led to this time. So we will be reviewing when we detach. We will survey our lives, and we'll be able to, because it's Uranus, Pluto in Aquarius, because it's Pluto in Aquarius, we'll be able to do analysis in a dispassionate way. And we may feel insecure with regard to our future thoughts and our impulses, because that's the Uranian energy as well, because it's Aquarius. And we may feel that we have no control over our impulses, and these impulses may have a life of their own. We may keep having repetitious thoughts. We want to take note of those repetitious thoughts, not the negative thoughts, but the repetitions. The monitoring of external messages that come from others will point to our future, and they are guideposts, and others will be able to validate us. The inner and outer conditions or anything concerning the past will need to be confronted in order to be free. And our circumstances, we may have sudden clashes with friends, or that could be karmic as well, things that have not been resolved. There may be an opportunity, or will be opportunities for resolution, so that we can be free of karma. So this is really important, where we're not just being impulsive and compulsive, but also that we have the confrontations that will allow for resolution. So confrontation is not all a bad thing. We can also terminate that which is unresolvable, because some things are unresolvable. It could be with family, it could be with countries, it could be with anything. But this will allow us further growth. And there can be a natural parting of ways. And if that happens, just let it end, but end on good terms with people. We don't need to end things on bad terms. We need to mature in that way. Sometimes it's not possible though, hey? It's also where we need to nurture relationships with those that allow and encourage us to grow and to be ourselves. And we know who those people are. I've got several in my life. Where others allow us to objectify, and where individuation is being encouraged. The needing of ending of some relationships for new relationships to come in is what we need. And this is where we have an evolutionary leap. And also others that have walked this path, because there will be people that have, they can help us to reconcile the events that are taking place. Validation from others on the path will allow freedom from the past and assist us of shedding all that prevents necessary growth. inwardly. This is also a time to encourage others' individuation. So if you see people and they're wanting to do something different, encourage them. You know, if it's healthy and it's good for them, encourage them. Even if it means terminating, you know, maybe seeing them or whatever. You know, people may want to move to a different country or pick up on a different lifestyle, leaving jobs behind. It's also important to not let others restrict our growth, and we must not restrict others' growth. It's a time, if we do, to terminate on a good note so that we don't create negative karma. And it's also a time to follow future-orientated internal and external messages that are repetitive, which allows us for our own scale, our own large-scale evolutionary changes. So that's it for today. I got a lot out there in a short space of time. So we can see what's going on here. This is 22nd of November, 2024. What I'd like to do is go back by weeks, because I want to see what happens when we have this retrograde. I'm going back, this is 2024. We can see that retrograde going on there. So we're going back to January 2024. And we can see that Pluto is in the sign, 19th of January 2024, we got Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. So let's go forward and watch out for the retrograde. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. It goes retrograde. So it goes in. See this? Okay, beautiful there. It's stations at 2 degrees. 3rd of May 2024, stations. Then it goes, if we move it, we'll go back. And then it will go back in to Capricorn. There you go. See that there? I love solar fire. 6th of September, roughly, I'm not giving you the exact date, it's 6th of September that week, 2024. And then we go forward. And it stations, and then it goes direct. And there you go. Pluto, Aquarius, for 20 years. Beautiful. So let's see where we're all going in between now and then. We've got a lot to learn, and we need to look after each other. Things are changing for sure. And things can be good, you know, things can be good. So it's a case of figuring our own lives out at this point and really choosing what's right for us. Hope this is useful. Any comments, please leave below, and please subscribe. Catch you later.